Where are you originally from? Where were you born?
So I was actually born at an Elvis Costello concert in Irvine, California.
Look at that, man. That's a way to come into the world.
Yeah, no joke. And then I moved around like the greater LA area around a lot as a kid. Lived in Pasadena for a while. Then my boss one night got drunk and he kicked my door in. Tried to kill me with a torque wrench. So I decided to leave Pasadena. I threw a dart at a map and landed in Thailand. So I lived in Phuket for about a year. Woke up naked on a beach one day and stayed there working in a Swedish nightclub for a while. That was fun. After that, I lived in San Francisco for a bit, and then I moved to Salt Lake City, where I started Golden Plates. Lived there for about 5 years, and then I recently moved to San Diego, which is where I'm at now.
So from California, you bounced around, you were in Pasadena, your boss flipped out, and one thing led to another, and you end up in Thailand. And then from Thailand, you come back to the States, and now you're in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, man. That's a lot. That's a journey. That's a big journey, you know.
Yeah, it's been pretty wild. I've seen some shit, that's for sure.
Can we go a little bit back? Let's get into we'll tie it all with the music, but just the story always intertwines with the artist, and that's a pretty wild story to go from bouncing around California, going around. California's got a lot to see, dude, in general, and then you had that experience, ended up in Thailand. What happened with that? Were you doing music when you were in Pasadena working? Where were you working at for this boss?
Yeah, so I was working at a Honda dealership, and it was across the street I had this little studio apartment that actually, I looked up the history of it. It was a brothel in the 1800s. Wow. And it had this real funky setup. And so, like, when I looked up, like, who would build a building like that, I found out, this was where ladies would take, dudes to the rooms back in the early days, right? Which was a lot of fun. So I had like a little, I had my bed in one part of this little building, and then I did this little music studio set up. And I was in a band called Love Always, with that same boss who kicked down my door. It was weird. It was a wild situation, but
it was in the band. I didn't mean to interrupt. He was in the band with you.
Yeah, he was my drummer.
Gotcha.
But this was a different band back then. It was a different style of music. I played bass in that band. We had a different lead singer. We had a new lead singer every 3 weeks because the drummer would sleep with these singers and then piss them off. And then we'd have to find a new lead singer.
That doesn't sound like a good way to keep the longevity of the band, right? If we just keep banging the lead singer.
That's why that's not a band anymore. Well, that and, other reasons. But yeah, that's there's a lot of reasons that I don't talk to that guy. He still hits up my sister every once in a while, like drunk at 3 a.m, try to flirt with her and stuff. It's bad news. So I'm glad to be out of that situation. And that's why I kind of do things on my own now, right? I've discovered that, I can't rely on people to make good decisions. So I do things on my own, and then, I hope to get to the point soon where I can afford to, do what like Trent Reznor and Damon Albarn do, and like just hire really good musicians to fill the parts on stage for me, but keep it just me in the studio.
Absolutely. Bringing it to life, doing it through the DAW, and then when it comes to live, getting those session artists to go ahead and bring that realism into the performance. Nice, man. That's an insane part of creating music with a band, and it's also the blessing we have to be able to produce it a lot more digitally, on our computers. I think you even have Logic on your iPhone now, if I'm not mistaken, which is it's insane. Go ahead, please.
I have a podcast myself. It's on break right now. Next time I go on tour, I'm going to interview some artists that open for me and that kind of thing. But I interviewed an artist recently who called Blackout Orchestra, and they recorded their entire album on a BlackBerry.
Wow, BlackBerry.
Yeah, it was wild, and it's really good too. Like it doesn't sound like it was recorded on a BlackBerry. It actually sounds halfway like it was done in a halfway decent home studio.
Dude, respects to those people. But you know what? I hear that like Moby was doing that back in the day when he was creating drum sounds. I think he had all of these different drum machines and he was just trying to create one sound. And now you get that in like a MIDI keyboard, right? You have that with all the presets now. And with the BlackBerry, if you really know how to get that stuff in there, you can really make some magic. And you managed to create your own studio out there in Thailand, right? You know, a lot of people, I've seen Thailand, man. You were in a good place. A lot of people, from what I've seen, at least on these travel Instagram pictures that I've seen, it looks like another world practically. So the fact that you went out there, $100 a month, and you were making music prior to getting your laptop stolen, it must have been pretty good for that period of time before that.
Yeah, it was even pretty good after. I don't know. I had the world's best/worst job. Basically, there was this Swedish nightclub I worked at, right, where it was like for backpackers to come in and like have a safe place where you didn't have prostitution and stuff going on. And they had a special. It was all you can drink for like $20.
There you go. You're at the spot.
I went out and sold tickets for that, and I got free drinks at the club, and basically my interactions was like going out to talking to like European, because there weren't a lot of Americans there. So I'd go out and I was talking to a lot of Europeans and Australians, and I'd just get into the weirdest adventures, right? Like these German guys, like they were like, yeah, sure, we're down to go, but you know where we can get some kratom? I'm like, I didn't even know what kratom was at the time, right? Like, I'm like, sounds like an adventure. Let's figure it out. So I just go on this crazy adventure with these two German dudes, that ends in me getting smacked with pool noodles by all these girls in this weird strip club. Right, you go swimming in some of these beaches and like tropical fish, like the kind you see in Finding Nemo, like swim up to you and they're like, "Hey, how's it going?" It's a wild place.
That's insane, man. And you were out there, you were doing it. It sounds like you were interacting and just finding who you could find. Not a lot of people spoke English, I imagine.
Actually, no. A lot of people did speak English. It was weird. But I speak just enough to get by, like Spanish, German, and a couple other languages. So like, I was kind of getting by, but a lot of Australians out there, and Australians speak great English. So
how are you paying for the studio $100 a month? Because I imagine a lot of people, they have these visions. I'm gonna go to Thailand, right? My life sucks in wherever they are in the world, and they're like, I'm gonna go to Thailand. And how are you doing it? How are you paying the $100? And was it like people imagined? Because a lot of people would have wanted to be in that place. I'm gonna take my laptop, get a bungalow, couple little microwave, a coffee machine, we're making music. How did you do it? What was that like?
So actually when I first got there I had no plan, right? I was just totally just in the wind, right? So I met this dude from India, and he had this travel agency type business, right? And it was my first day there, and I was saying my first little bit there is kind of like a vacation before I like try to find a job. I'm trying to find a job teaching English or something like that. Was the plan originally, I think. So anyway, I'm talking to this dude, and he's like,
"Yeah, very realistic plan."
Yeah, right. And so I'm talking to this dude, and he's like, "Well, my landlord has a place for rent. Like, what's your budget?" And I'm like, "I don't know, something pay no more than like $150 a month. Just like."
Hey man, you gotta tell it how it is. Otherwise, it's like, whoa,
And he's like, perfect. It's 3,000 baht a month, which roughly translates, I think, to like $105 a month, or it's just 3,200 baht, I think, maybe something like that. Anyway, it was not a lot of money.
That still sounds amazing. I mean, dude, $105.
Yeah. So. Anyway, I get there, and like most people would look at this place and be like, "Nope, I'm not living here." But I was super down. Like it was literally just a cave, and there was this flat tile part that had been like shaved down to a flat surface to put a mattress on top of.
Like a cave, then.
Yeah, Like there were like the walls were rough, and there were parts where there were like openings to the outside world that had been like sealed off with like cinder blocks, right? Like
Where was the toilet? Where's the sink? Where do you?
The toilet was outside, so I had this outdoor bathroom kind of thing that was like aluminum walls and a door, kind of like a big outhouse.
Right. So at 3 a.m, you got to run out there with your bare feet, and the flies are after you.
Yep, and it wasn't that bad because like under the landlord's house and my buddy's house. So my buddy's house was on the ground above the cave, and then there was the bridge that went over to the landlord's house, and then there was another cave next door with this Vietnamese family living in it that would always cook for me. And they would go out in the ocean and like catch crabs and stuff, and like make like seafood stews and stuff. And like I'd come over with some whiskey. They'd make me some food. But they didn't speak any English. I didn't speak any Vietnamese. We had a great time.
Wow! Look at that.
So it wasn't too bad, but yeah, the bathroom it had a flushing toilet and an American style toilet. I didn't have to squat down and shit on my feet, right?
You had some shit, man.
Right, there was a bidet in there and a shower.
A bidet.
Yeah, it was actually pretty nice. For a cave, for an outdoor outhouse next to a cave that I lived in, it was actually really nice. I didn't share it with anybody. They had the family in the cave next door had their own version of what I had.
Wow, so you never hear about that, a cave, but then you got a bidet. Wow, look at that, man. You got to living in a cave. You got a bidet to clean yourself. People don't even have that in the U.S. Most people yet,
Right? Yeah. No, I keep on wanting to install one in my apartment. It was nice to have. Yeah. So so I'm out there. I'm meeting people from all around the world. Hearing stories. One night it was Christmas Eve. I'm in this bar and there's a dude from there's 2 Australian dudes. A dude from Brazil, a dude from China, a dude from Hungary, and a dude from South Africa, and we're all drinking in this bar, right? One person from every inhabitable continent. And at some point, we're just drinking buckets of alcohol, just getting wasted, shooting fireworks at each other on the beach and shit. Great time. Just all these crazy dudes from all over the world. And the last thing I remember, one of the Australians was like, "Do you feel like you're living in the moment," or some bullshit, right? Some Aussie bullshit like that, right? I'm just joking. I love Australians. Anyway, we all wake up the next morning in someone's hotel room that doesn't belong to any of us, and we all have matching tattoos of 2 stick figures sword fighting. Except for one of the Australian dudes did not get that tattoo with the rest of us. He decided to get Chuck Norris tattooed on his ass. But the rest of us all have matching tattoos with all these guys from all over the world that I'm friends with on Facebook that I occasionally say hi to. But like it's super weird. Like
that's awesome. If people get tattoos when they're drunk and they don't remember, but if there's ever a time you want that to happen, it's like that, right? A memory that you can be like, you know what? That's a crazy time in my life, man. You were having fun, and
it was wild, man. Like there was this bar on the beach called the Reggae Bar, and that's because drugs are like quasi illegal in Thailand, but like pot and mushrooms are legal. So there was this bar called the Reggae Bar where you could like get pot and mushroom milkshakes that were like quasi like technically they were legal, but you just pay the cops $10 and they look the other way, right? Like
wow. Really, man, they don't even have that out here, man. So they're ahead of the game. Mushroom milkshakes. You buy a little bit of cannabis, buy some weed. You good, man. I was gonna say, even though it sounds nice, you're in Thailand. You're probably like you haven't seen any since the last time you were in America. But then, yeah, I bet in reality it's like how great. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. I think it was either Boston or Tijuana. Tijuana was like brown. It looked brown. I was like, dude, this is brown, but you gotta do it, man. You gotta do what you gotta do. Nice, man. So how long were you in Thailand for? How did you end up back here? What happened with you got your laptop stolen? Like, that's all.
That's all the stuff because I had all the music I'd recorded on there. But I re-recorded a bunch of it later. I remember most of it, how to play it, that kind of thing. So it wasn't a hard stretch to remake some of it.
How was that day? What happened that day? That's devastating, man. I've had something similar happen. MacBook destroyed everything, years of work, and that's like, you gotta really not lose your sauce there.
Yeah, it was sucky because there was this kid I worked with, this Filipino kid from LA, that like he didn't have a place to stay, so I let him stay. Like I let him stay like on a little air mattress in like the corner of my cave for a little bit, right? And I'm pretty sure he's the one who robbed me. And you know, like
why? Because he didn't come back the next day.
Yep. Wow. And then I saw him in a couple in the streets like a few weeks later. He left the job. He got fired from the job too. I saw him like in the streets a couple weeks later, and like he was like crying. He's like, "You have money for me to eat?" I'm like, "I'm pretty sure you stole my laptop." He's like, "Bro, I'm hungry." I'm like, "I'm pretty sure you stole my laptop." Like, I'm like, "Fuck you, dude." Like I didn't, I swear. I'm like, okay, you know, like I have no recourse here. Like,
Yep. Oh, dude, I know, man. When I worked at the newspaper stand on Fairfax, I had a guy from China come, and he had apparently a suitcase with like a MacBook, another MacBook that he used for like one for school, one with like editing stuff. Apparently he had like his brand new iPhone in there, and the guy was like so excited to be on Melrose, and I think he was like following something, or he actually went to buy a Gatorade from me at the newsstand and left his stuff not that far in his perception, but on Melrose in that area, just like that, and they took it, and he was just like, "Oh, my stuff got taken," you know? And I'm like, "Oh, what'd you have in there? You know, some socks, some shoes?" He's like, "No, man, my passport, my books, my laptop, my brand." And then I was like, "Really?" And he was like bummed, but it was really weird, really interesting and inspirational. It wraps up in an inspirational way, but he was just like, you know, where I'm from, it's good luck when something terrible happens to you, because then that means something great's gonna happen to you. Something great's coming.
And that's kind of how I felt about the whole situation. Not necessarily that it's good luck, because I don't know if I believe in luck. I think you make your own luck. But more like, you know, like whoever stole that, whether it was that Filipino kid or not, like, or like, because he would bring girls over and stuff too. So like, you know, it could have been like have little parties in my cave when I was out and about and working and stuff. It was weird. So who knows what it was? But like at the end of the day, someone needed it more than me, I guess. It's as hard to believe as that was at the time, because I was pretty fucking broke. But you know, it wasn't the end of the world. Like, you know, like I recorded those songs. It wasn't a very nice laptop. You know, like it. You know, I moved on with my life, right? You can't dwell on the bad things that happen to you, or else nothing good will ever happen to you. Is kind of what I've learned after years of fighting depression. So yeah, that's that. So anyway, I wound up. You can only get without like having like a lot of money or business or like a legit job offer. You can only stay in Thailand for about 10 months, and you have to leave the country every 3 months to get a new visa. Mm-hmm. So that time was up, and I had tickets to Coachella. So I came back home, went to Coachella, and started my life over in San Francisco at that point.
Nice.
So yeah, everything worked out. Like, you know, like sure I was bummed, you know, when I lost stuff, but whatever. I'm clumsy. I might have 2 days later I might have tripped and broken it anyway. You know, like, you know, there could have been a power surge. Any bad thing can happen. You can't dwell on it, right? Like, I've got a huge body of music that I'm really proud of. It's all out there on you know, every streaming service. Which, you know, like I think back to the days, you know, when I was 20 and recording music and putting on MySpace, right? And that was the only way you had to get your music out there at that time, right? Was, you know, your MySpace playlist, right? That was it. Yeah. And it sucks because I've lost most of that music too. Like that all got lost when MySpace got bought out by Fox or whatever. It all disappeared. But yeah, that's life, man. Shit happens. Bad things happen all the time, and that's kind of like my message. Just like, yeah, bad things happened all the time, but sometimes you find something that makes it worth it because you have to. Otherwise, you just spend your whole day wishing thinking about putting a shotgun in your mouth and going out in the woods, right? Like it's you can't live like that or else that's just a shitty life. I would know. So yeah,
absolutely. So what keeps you inspired today, keeps you going today, producing today? How do you remain inspired with your everyday life and with producing your work?
Sometimes it's hard because like work's it was really easy during the quarantine, right? Like I didn't have anything else to do. I got really bored of watching TV really fast. Right? I had no interest in getting involved in Tiger King. So it's just really easy to just focus on writing and producing and stuff like that. And I learned a lot. The cool thing was I learned about video editing. Like if you look back at my videos like a year and a half ago to like today, like my videos used to really suck. And so that's been a wild ride. But now it's been hard lately because now I'm back to like my real job, right? And now that the quarantine's technically over, I'm sure we'll have another shutdown again soon based on the way things are going. In the past couple weeks, I've worked for the WWE. I've worked for Lindsey Sterling. I've worked for a plumbers convention building, like they have like a tribute band of the Beach Boys. So I still have all these cool adventures when I'm working. I get to work with all these amazing artists and people, and I work on plays sometimes too. So it's that inspires me, but it's also sometimes I work 80 hours a week and I have no time to do anything. So I've got to hold on to that for when I don't have a ton going on, so that I can get back at it. Is the way to do it. It's just you gotta realize that your time is limited, and I think that's one of the biggest inspirations for me lyrically is knowing that it's fine. We're all gonna die one day. Like you either use that time well or you don't. But as long as you're happy and you're doing things that you love, that's what matters.
That's it, brother. That's it. One of my favorite quotes. It's a skateboarding quote. It's like, you didn't get old because you stopped skateboarding. You stopped skateboarding because you got old. And to me, that translates into, once you stop really just engaging with life, you just gotta always keep on rocking in the free world as much as you can. Everybody's gotta do stuff. You're a man, I'm a man. We all know that we have expectations to get shit done. We gotta do stuff, and stuff's gotta get done, and that is the reality. There's no really easy way to look at it in any other way, but it's really inspirational to see you out here doing stuff, having gone on your journey, going from LA to Thailand, being with these bands. It could have ended right there. It could have ended with you with these German guys and ending up at this club with the strippers. It could have ended any other place. San Francisco's a crazy place. Last time I was there, man, the crazy people out there, right? Especially right now. But here you are today, and you're doing it, man. You're still doing it, and it's really inspirational to have had you on today.
Well, thank you so much, and yeah, I fucking love Neil Young too. So, way to throw that in there. But yeah, no, it's been awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I think it's cool what you're doing, and I can't wait to see where the show goes and all that fun stuff too. Yeah, fuck it, like keep on rocking in the free world.
I appreciate you, man. No, seriously, I really do. Let's get you on again in the future. Let's get you on the show again and follow up. Let's see what's happening.
Sounds good, my dude. I like your style.
All right, man. To you as well.
All right, catch you later.
All right, brother.